Hey everyone! Today I'm trying out this budget set of fine detail brushes I found online. I didn't really have the budget for the higher end ones I really wanted, but I've been working on small watercolor paintings for an upcoming art walk and needed something with a really fine point. This brand had a bunch of good reviews, so I thought I'd give them a try and see if they're actually useful for detail work. I'm Amy and I run this channel with my husband Tanner. We are full-time artists and crafters, and we started this channel to share craft tutorials, product reviews, and business tips for fellow makers. Whether you're here to check out a project or to grow your own craft business, we've got you covered. Here's the set. The tube says Fuumuui, even though the listing I ordered from called them golden maple. It turns out Fuumuui makes two brush lines, the standard ones, and a miniature line which is branded golden maple. It comes with 15 brushes, labeled for miniatures and crafts. They say they're good for watercolor, acrylic, and even models. My first impressions? They feel decent, not flimsy. And a lot of the tips are surprisingly fine, which is exactly what I'm looking for. None of them came frayed or with stray hairs, and all the tips are nice and pointed. Let's do a quick demo with the brushes. There are 15, but some are duplicates. I'll focus on the really small ones since those are harder to find in most sets. Let's start with the flat brushes. Starting with the size 0 flat. There is no bristle separation. It holds a good amount of paint and has decent control. The size 1 flat handles similarly and gives a nice sharp line. Let's move on to the angle brush. This one holds a lot of paint. The bristles stay tight, and I love the thin grassy strokes it makes. This is actually a nice brush. Let's move on to the round brushes. The size 1 round has great control. I can switch from super fine lines to a thicker stroke just by changing the pressure. The size 0 handles similarly. Very responsive and great for versatile line work. Let's move on to the small ones. So the first one is a 00 or 2/0. This one is the short version. The tip is nice and sharp. I could paint eyelashes with it. It holds a surprising amount of paint for how small it is, and it handles swirls nicely. The long one also works well, although the bristles start to separate with more pressure. But it does create more of a dramatic line variation. Now let's move on to the 000 or 3/0. There are 3 variations with this one. First, the short one. It has a beautiful tip and no splitting. It's great for teeny loops, fur texture, tiny lettering, anything microscale. The long version is similar but holds more water. And then there's the one with the bent handle. This one's neat. It lets me get closer to the paper without my hand getting in the way. I can see myself using this a lot. Now let's move on to the 00000 or 5/0. Now these are teeny tiny. These are great for fur, flower veins, insect wings, basically anything mini. It draws lines just like a sewing needle. It holds enough paint just for those tiny, tiny strokes. Not too much and not too little. That said, the sharp point may not last forever. You'll want to reshape it after each use and pop that plastic cap on once it's dry. Then we have the long bristle version of the 5/0. It holds more water, but the bristles do spread when I make loops. For more control, I'd probably just reload the short version more often. Now I'm going to test these on some of my actual paintings and check for any shedding. First up, this little chick. I'm adding soft fur texture and pulling out the color to make it feel fluffier. I'll also use these brushes on the eye, the beak, and the grass. Next is the betta fish. I'm using the Fine-Tech Gold watercolor to outline the fins, gills, and bubbles. It's a thick metallic watercolor paint, so this will be a real test. So far, these brushes are holding really fine points. I like how it handles the soft lines. It's not fraying or losing shape yet, which is a good sign. With the gold, I had to reload the paint often, sometimes 3 times for a single line. The triangular handles make it harder to pull long, continuous lines, but I think it's something I need to get used to. The fur detail on the chick turned out great using the small brushes. These brushes definitely struggle more with thick metallics, but I'll keep experimenting. I'll definitely use them again. Overall, I'm impressed, especially for the price. If you're doing fine detail work like tiny animals, fur textures, or even miniature lettering, these are definitely worth trying out. They're not a replacement for professional brushes, but if you're on a budget or just getting started, this is a great little set. There was no shedding, even with the heavier metallic paints, and all the tips stayed sharp. If you're interested in Fuumuui's larger watercolor brush set, check out my other video linked above. Let me know in the comments if you tried these, or if you have a favorite brush for watercolor or acrylic detail work. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you soon.